In the wise words of John Darnielle, it's good to be young, but let's not kid ourselves. It's better to pass on through those years and look at the other side. And, well, yeah. But it's undeniable that teenagehood, especially regarding girls, is glorified to a ridiculous extent in media. Skins, Euphoria, I Am Not Okay With This are all critically acclaimed shows that depict the darkest side of being young and what comes with it. But what if I told you that the most realistic portrayal of being a teenage girl is showcased in a visual novel with this kind of dialogue?
You brought the supplies, right?
Yeah, you brought me here to cook crack?
Yeah, what else is baking soda for?
I don't know, baking?
Class of '09 is a game released in 2021, along with its re-up in 2022, and it has recently gained a lot more traction, which it fully deserves. Our main character is a girl named Nicole, who has just moved to a new school with her family to get a fresh start. And by that, I mean a stereotypical gamer brother got caught pirating bad music, and her dad killed himself and attached a suicide note to the fridge with a Cookie Monster magnet, so it was less by choice and more by necessity. Despite this, Nicole seems to have really found herself. She befriends a girl named Jekka, and together they go through the normal motions of life. Stealing MSI shirts, avoiding the school counselor's sexual advances, and bullying the hentai-anime obsessed kid, Jeffrey. Now, I know this all seems really absurd, and trust me, this game has some of the funniest dialogues and ideas I've ever read, but at the same time, some of the endings and implications are downright soul-crushing, and we are going to get into that. Many people talk about the game, yet very few have taken a more sympathetic view on our protagonist, which is valid as she's far from a good person, but in this video, while we will acknowledge all the shitty things she did, which, by the way, are too many to count, we will also have to take into consideration the world she's in and how she's treated by those around her, especially men. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
What is going on in here? Nicole, why are you screaming?
He literally just invited me over to fuck.
Excuse me, is this true?
Well, I didn't use the F word.
Nicole self-identifies as a sociopath. Since it's not my place to armchair diagnose fictional characters, I'll leave it at that. However, it's undeniable that she's not exactly mentally stable and definitely not the most sympathetic individual. Aside from a serious drug problem stemming from the opioid crisis of the 2000s, Nicole's philosophy is not giving a shit about men's feelings, or anyone's feelings for that matter, aside from Jekka's. In the game, we are presented with a variety of possible love interests to pick and choose from. Let me introduce you to them and how Nicole interacts with them in most of her routes, excluding the adults that try to get with her, as that's a whole can of worms I'll deal with later.
You are a quintessential dipshit.
Quinn, I don't know what the fuck that means, but I'm gonna kick your ass.
You're gonna hit a girl? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Think I care? You don't know me. I beat the shit out of my mom if she was asking for it.
We have Kyler, a rageful student athlete with a dream of becoming a professional lacrosse player and a habit of addressing his female classmates as whores. His only redeemable quality in Nicole's eyes is that he has enough Percocet to
demotivate an elephant.
Enabling his advances will lead him to inevitably jump off the school rooftop under Nicole's manipulation. This, and the way you do it, will lead to numerous paths, such as getting sent to rehab, becoming a YouTuber, or even valedictorian of the class of '09. We have Crispin, a predecessor to the typical male manipulator stereotype. Kristen is actually one of the most normal guys, but that's not saying much. I'll let Nicole sum up my personality, as my words cannot do justice to hers.
You call your bicycle a BMX, like energy drinks, take pictures of your skateboarding wounds, mention to anyone they can't get addicted to marijuana, and own a guitar pick necklace.
Yeah, you know the type. Crispin's biggest crime, aside from using guilt-tripping as a mating strategy, is sending Nicole one-to-many dick pics, which she spreads around the school, so yeah, not a good guy either, but again, he's far from the worst. There are some boys who are less noteworthy, like Hunter, whom Nicole seduces as a way to get back at the school's theater kid Megan, his girlfriend, but aside from being a cheater, he's not too bad. Again, keep in mind the bar is on the floor. I'm not trying to undermine cheating. It's just that a relationship being consensual in this game is enough for me to rank it a bit higher. And then we have Jeffrey. Jeffrey needs a much longer discussion because there is a lot to unpack here. He's the aforementioned sex-obsessed anime kid, and while that is a phase a lot of lonely teenage boys go through, Jeffrey is disturbed, to say the least. Bullied by almost all of the boys and manipulated by all of the girls, he's a total outcast. Nicole immediately takes advantage of it in order to be popular, having him spill all his embarrassing fantasies and sharing them around the school.
Hey there, Jeffrey. Things better with your dad yet?
Oh, hello, Jekka. Unfortunately, no. He used my toothbrush to clean out his new assault rifle he bought from China.
Wow, messed up much? Anyway, could you buy me another Diet Coke?
Sorry, but I can't anymore. My mom's been wondering where all my lunch money's been going.
Aw, you're mean. You don't like me anymore.
Again, I'm sorry, I just don't know.
Maybe I should grow 40 feet. Then you'd really like me.
Hey! How'd you...
Maybe if you took your shoes off and stepped on his face!
I can't believe this! She told everyone?
It's okay, Jeffrey. Run away with me. I'll stuff you in my back pocket.
Ugh, just shut up!
He's feisty today. Meow.
Oh my god, I almost forgot about that.
You have any catnip for us?
Yeah, pet us. Make us purr.
I can't believe this!
These leads him to shoot ups at school, by the way. Jeffrey is the guy Nicole torments the most, and to be fair, he does take a half-naked picture of her in the girls' locker room and is overall very creepy. He is far from innocent, but something interesting about Jeffrey is his text messages. For each ending, there's a different text message from another classmate, except that most of them are from Jeffrey. Let's read through some of them. They're a bit long, so please bear with me, they're really interesting. This is for the statewide expulsion ending. I haven't talked about it, but it's self-explanatory. The title is, "Don't Look at Me, You Fucking Slut." When I leave, either for the day or for forever, it is always strange seeing them. They look, and I look away. How dare they ask for eye contact when they wouldn't even show me common decency when we were forced in a room together? I go back in the car when I see someone from there, and I think about killing them. I think about killing a lot of people. I think about strapping them to a chair and beating their face into a pulp with an aluminum bat. I've decided she doesn't deserve beauty. This is for the YouTube famous ending. The title is, "You Will Never Know Who." Every video I post a comment. I actually post several. Never my face on the profile picture, never a username that suggests who I might be, never the same account. I post with the curiosity of seeing if Daddy would ever reach out to me. Curious as to who I am, like the rest of the world seems to be for you. I hate you. I think you're an attention whore, and yet, I wish I had the acceptance and social stimuli you take for granted. You are such a fucking whore. I could be your friend if you gave me a chance. And the last one is for another ending which I haven't talked about, but I still really needed to prove my point. It's the 500k LA dream ending. Everything works for everyone but me, every time. I'm harassed and they tell me to get over it. Someone desirable is harassed and they get the world as consolation. I swear to God I was absolutely disgusted while reading this out loud. Class of '09, like most dating sims, relies on stereotypes. If Kyler is the jock, Jeffrey is the worst kind of incel, joining any hateful group like the straight club, which we'll get to later, just to have a sense of belonging. While I really struggle to feel sympathy for this kind of people, especially since their ideals actually have an influence on others and sometimes lead to horrible crimes, I still find Jeffrey to be a very interesting character.
What did anybody do to you anyway? Everybody's always nice to you and calls you pretty, and all you want to do is hurt them.
Well, shoot, if they call me pretty.
And more than that, they give you things, always help you, and then I just see you screw them over. All I see is you being mean for the sake of being mean. It's like a game to you.
You want me to tell you what you don't see?
I've seen enough.
Have you ever seen a man 3 times your age ask you to fuck him?
Like just this week, or...
What? Be serious!
Sorry, how about 60 texts in one night all threatening you if you don't go out with the pizza delivery man who sent them?
How would you let some crazy guy get your number like that in the first place?
I ordered pizza with my cell phone. I know your pasty white ass wouldn't get what being in demand is like, but it's a tough job, Jeffrey.
And you don't even get paid.
But if you do, you're a whore. Are you getting it, Jeffrey?
So people like you. Boo-hoo.
They don't just like us. They're obsessed with us. Obsession leads to a lot of crazy shit. And you give the wrong bitch enough crazy shit in her life, she just might snap on everybody.
Sounds like a good problem to have. I'd rather be surrounded by craziness instead of still being lonely. You don't know what that feels like. You don't know what life is like wanting a partner and being ignored by everyone. You're spoiled by social attention and you don't even know it.
Is this your manifesto?
Teenage boys, a lot of the time, are taught not to take responsibility for their actions, and Jeffrey doesn't realize that the only reason he doesn't have a girlfriend, or just friends, is not because all the alpha males are taking the pretty girls, or that other people are luckier, or at least not only that. The main thing is that he's insufferable to be around and not attractive enough to compensate for it. In the saddest route, Nicole chooses to be nicer to the boys, taking each of them to dates. This leads the gym coach spreading a rumor that she has sex with the whole football team. All the boys turn on her, the counselor victim blames her, and she ends up taking her own life. This ending explains her behavior towards men, which a lot of people consider unfair. When Nicole lets her guard down and is actually kind, everyone immediately expects free assets to her, and when they don't get it, they push her over the edge so much that she dies. This ending is really, really tragic, and once again, while we're not supposed to sympathize with Nicole, it makes us understand her point of view.
People are books, puzzles, and pawns. In that order. First they're read, then they're figured out, then they're persuaded. Some would call that wrongly manipulative. But what's the alternative? Basically any advice my mom's ever given me? Don't be mean, don't judge, be open. And yeah, sure, but that only works when men don't want to have sex with you. Be tolerant of guys who get off by choking you. No way that goes south. What's wrong with a pizza delivery boy with no career goals? When's the last time you asked your pizza man if he's a rapist? They're called warning signs, but ignoring them makes you a nice person. And one day, if you're a nice enough girl, you'll end up just like me. And just like my dad. If you're reading this, I'm dead.
But Nicole actually ends up having a love interest in the re-up of the game, a girl named Ari. Ari and Nicole's relationship is mainly the reason people find it hard to sympathize with the latter, as she literally abuses her into getting with guys. Ari appears to be a masochist, but that's not the problem. The problem is that she's trapped in the relationship with Nicole, as she's the only lesbian girl at school who is out of the closet. So she takes her girlfriend's shit until she doesn't.
And so the month we had together made me realize something else.
Realize what?
I realized that guys turn me off, but girls make me want to fucking kill myself.
You can also choose not to get with Ari, but this will lead to Nicole getting called a homophobe and stumbling upon the aforementioned straight club, who then tries to burn Ari's house down.
What's her address, Nicole? Let's show that bitch a lesson!
Whoa, chill out, I don't know it.
Don't hold out on us! Tell me where she lives or I'm gonna chokeslam you into the sugar cube castle!
I told you I didn't know her fucking address!
So, Nicole definitely has a problem with relationships and empathy, not only with men. What she does to Ari is completely unjustifiable. However, Nicole's romantic roots don't only involve teenagers. Unfortunately, a lot of adults seem to take interest in her. I'm gonna briefly go through all the questionable adults in the game, as there are a lot, but be prepared because these people are awful. At school, we have Coach Colby, the gym teacher who, in the necrophilia ending, strangles Nicole after taking her to his apartment. The counselor, who desperately tries to normalize pedophilia with the old "age is just a number" mantra. At least it's not a murder, and yes, the bar is that low that I have to say at least, but he's a pig regardless. Mr. White is a photography teacher who, as his name suggests, is really into white nationalism, starting a white pride party at school. We have Mr. Katz, and honestly, Mr. Katz is not so bad. He just has a crack cocaine addiction and buys from Nicole, but aside from that, he's chill. But not only the men at school are horrible. The mall cop has no problem shooting Nicole after she steals an MSI CD. And how could I forget? Her gamer brother texts 14-year-olds on the internet and is logged in a lot of CP websites. Did I mention he's 27 and lives in their basement? But you know what? It's not actually just the men in general. Nicole's mother, while sometimes being kind and understanding in times of need, will have no problem throwing Nicole in the streets into routes, one of them leading to become a MySpace sex worker. There is one really interesting female adult presence in Nicole's life, and that's Miss Lynn, the principal. She's definitely the most reasonable adult, and she's a really complex character. It's established that she has had many sexual encounters with most of the male staff at school, leading her not to be taken seriously and not having as much power as she deserves. And in one ending, she has a really sweet talk with Nicole where she tells her she was just like her at her age.
When you fooled around with half your staff, they don't take you very seriously. I know I might seem old to you, but we're actually not too different.
Using our looks to fuck around with people?
That's right. Been doing it since I was your age. Though you really one-upped me, never letting your emotions trick you into thinking you owed them anything. Rare for a girl your age.
How long for you to figure that out?
I still haven't, in 39 years. 39 years old, and I didn't report teachers for asking students out, because I didn't want to look stuck up. Sometimes all it takes is one night with someone to feel the need to be loyal.
Ew, you fucked the counselor?
Among others.
Well, I guess it only makes sense that men impulsive enough to fuck their boss would also try to fuck kids. I thought you hosted the feminism club.
Politics or fashion. We pick it for a sense of belonging, not change.
Most of us, anyway.
Maybe one day, you'll start your own movement.
I already have.
So yeah, Class of '09 is not just out-of-pocket dialogue and hilarious scenarios. It's actually a game with a lot of depth, and I was surprised when I found out it was written by a man, because in some way, it does relate to the teenage girl experience, and I'm sure each of us can see a bit of ourselves in Nicole, or Jekka, or Ari, or even characters I haven't talked about, like Megan, Emily, or Karen. While this visual novel was at some point really hard to stomach and it genuinely left me on the verge of tears, it is an amazing game with stellar voice acting, dialogue, and very, very interesting characters. This has been Bittersweet Tooth in an analysis of Class of '09. Arrivederci.